Stoicism is a traditional way of thinking that has stood the test of time. It comes from the writings of wise people like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epicurus. Stoicism is based on the ideas of ethics, wisdom, and living a life with purpose and self-control. Many of us have unknowingly picked up habits that go against this age-old advice because we live in a fast-paced world where technology and outside pressures are always present. We often live distracted, unhappy lives because of these habits. We're always looking for the next thing to make us happy for a short time. Or what if the key to peace of mind, happiness, and a meaningful life isn't to add more, but to take away? Getting rid of the habits that hold us back and keep us from reaching our full potential. Today, we're going to talk about 5 habits that are the opposite of being stoic. You may recognize some of these habits in yourself, and if you don't change them, they could keep you from living a calm and balanced life as Stoicism suggests. Are you ready to start this process of becoming more self-aware and changing? Here are 5 bad habits that you might want to get rid of right now. Click the like button and join if you're ready to let go of the habits that are holding you back and take a more stoic view of life. Let's go on this path to wisdom together. Number 1, focusing on the outside world. It's easy to fall into the trap of looking for approval from other people when you live in a world that is focused on likes, shares, and follows. Living with an outside focus is our first anti-stoic practice, and it deals with this very problem. There are a lot of messages around us all the time about what success and beauty are and what important life goals we should reach by a certain age. Advertisements, outside forces, and even well-meaning family and friends can set standards for us. We're told that having a bigger house, the newest gadget, and trips to faraway places are signs of a happy life. This is where the trap lies. When we always look outward, we set ourselves up for a never-ending cycle of comparison and dissatisfaction. Stoicism tells us to take back our independence and realize that we can enjoy and interact with the outside world, but our true center should be inside ourselves. Things that really matter are our virtues, beliefs, and personal growth. He who looks outside dreams. He who looks inside awakens, Carl Jung wrote. By reflecting on our own values and practicing self-reflection, we can move through the outside world with purpose and direction instead of getting lost in its ever-changing waves. Number 2, overthinking about the future and dwelling on the past. Time is a strange thing because it makes us think too much about the past and not enough about the future. Even though it's always going on, our thoughts get stuck so often, either remembering the past or worrying about what will happen in the future. Another bad habit that isn't like Stoics is focusing on the past and worrying too much about the future. Think about the times you've played back a memory and wished you could change something, a word, an action, or a choice. Or all the nights you've spent tossing and turning, fretting over things you couldn't change about the future. These ways of thinking can keep us from enjoying and making the most of the present moment. When we are always looking ahead or backward, we miss the beauty and chances that are right in front of us. Stoicism shows us how important it is to be in the present moment and ground ourselves in that moment. Sometimes it's good to think about the past and make plans for the future, but letting these thoughts control your life can leave you feeling like you only lived half of your life. Think about how freeing it would be to fully enjoy each moment without worrying about what happened yesterday or what will happen tomorrow. We can do it every day by making a mindful choice to do it. Epictetus once stated, "Remember, it's not enough to be hit or insulted to be harmed. You must believe that you are being harmed." As we go through life, it's important to remember that how we see things affects what we experience. We can find peace in the midst of chaos and truly live, not just survive, if we stay in the present and practice mindfulness. Number 3, looking for comfort instead of growth. Seeking comfort over growth. Comfort has an obvious appeal: soft pillows, old habits, and the ease of the known. But is there a price to pay for always taking the easiest route? Our third anti-stoic habit is one that many people have. They choose comfort over growth. Imagine a plant that is squished because its pot is too small for it. Though the plant feels safe and at home in its pot, It won't really grow well until it has a chance to stretch out and reach for the sun. Similarly, if we always look for safety, we might stop ourselves from growing without meaning to. When you try to avoid discomfort, you might avoid difficulties and miss out on lessons and experiences that are very important to you. Stoicism tells us that being uncomfortable can be a way to grow, and that facing problems with bravery and strength can make us smarter and stronger. Imagine how good it would feel to get over a long-held fear or complete a task you thought was impossible. We often find that thrill and progress just outside our comfort zones. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Let's not only look for the soft spots in life, let's also welcome the rough spots, because that's where our real potential often shines through. Number 4, letting your feelings take over. It's easy to let your feelings take over, but remember that feelings are strong, like the waves of the ocean. They can take over and knock us off our feet when we're feeling passionate, angry, or sad. Our 4th anti-stoic habit deals with a problem that everyone faces, letting their feelings control them. Have you ever felt bad about a choice you made in a hurry, or wished you could take back anger-fueled words? That's the power of feelings that aren't controlled. They can control what we do and often lead us astray. Emotions are like the colors of a person's life. They paint our memories and shape our deepest connections, and often our darkest regrets. Society sends us a lot of different messages. Sometimes we're told to hide how we feel, and other times we're told to follow our hearts. We have a rough time dealing with our own thoughts because of this. But Stoicism tells us that being uncomfortable can be a way to grow, and that facing problems with courage and strength can make us smarter and stronger. It gives us power to be aware of our feelings without having them control our choices. It's about keeping our ship on course even when storms of anger or fear come up. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength, he said. As we try to find our way through life's complicated maze, let's try to master our emotions and paint our experiences with all their shades, but always with meaning, balance, and purpose. Number 5, being a victim of events. Because people are victims of their conditions, problems and difficulties are a natural part of life, just like the seasons changing. Losing a job, ending a relationship, or getting sick for no apparent reason are just a few of the things that can happen in life that test our strength. However, how we see and deal with these problems shapes our journey, and that's what makes the difference between taking charge of your life and being a slave of it. When someone is a victim, they feel like they have no control over their life, and that outside events decide their fate. People naturally think they have no power or control over what happens, which can make them act out of rage, anger, or hopelessness. People who think this way often say things like, "Why does this always happen to me?" Or "I can't change this. It's just my luck." It's normal to feel stressed sometimes, but staying in a victim mentality all the time can stop you from growing and reaching your full potential. This passive way of looking at life is questioned by Stoicism. Stoicism tells us not to judge events as good or bad, but to see them as neutral events that get meaning from how we judge them. It was Epictetus who said, "It's not things that bother us, but how we think about them." This point of view shows how powerful our perceptions are in shaping our lives. When we let go of the victim mindset, we make room for growth and change. We begin to understand that we may not always be able to change what happens to us, but we can always choose how to react. The proactive person doesn't ask, "Why did this happen?" Instead, they ask, "What can I learn from this?" Or "How can I adapt and get through this?" This small change in the way you ask questions turns problems into chances to grow. Being proactive also means learning how to be strong and creative when things go wrong. Instead of giving up, a tough person looks for ways to make things better, learns from mistakes, and stays strong when things go wrong. To do this, you can't ignore or play down problems. You have to face them with a positive and flexible attitude. Getting away from a victim mindset also helps you understand and care about other people, not just yourself. Realizing that everyone is going through a different set of problems makes it easier to understand and help each other. Remember that getting out of the victim mentality doesn't mean that your feelings or events aren't real. You have the right to feel pain, sadness, and anger, and it's important to recognize and deal with them. But what makes them different is how long they stay in these emotions and how they let them shape their story. In the end, how you see things, how you think, and how you react determine whether you are a victim of your circumstances or a proactive navigator of life's challenges. While bad things happen in life, having a stoic attitude can help us deal with them with calm, strength, and purpose. Not only does this help us grow as people, but it also encourages those around us to see problems not as impossible to solve, but as opportunities to reach higher levels. It's true that everyone has habits, some good and some bad. We can't be our best when we do these 5 things, but there's good news. By following the ideas of Stoicism, we can learn to pick better things. It's like getting a life guide. We can have a better future if we understand these habits and work on changing them. Think about how great tomorrow could be as you think about what you've learned today. Now is your chance to make a big change for the better and start living a happier life.